Hello and welcome to the start of your Mark Scott Leadership for Life Award. My name's Amanda Mackey and I'm one of the 4 project coordinators who deliver the award, and in this short presentation I'm going to talk you through information about how the award will run this year and explain what's expected of you to achieve your award. First of all though, I'd like to congratulate you all on taking the steps to be here watching this now. You all saw an opportunity to develop yourself and to give something back to your communities, and you went for it. So let's get started. Hello and welcome to the start of your Mark Scott Leadership for Life Award. My name's Amanda Mackey and I'm one of the 4 project coordinators who deliver So just a quick recap on the history of the award. You may already know that the award was set up by Mark Scott's parents over 20 years ago. Mark was a Glasgow teenager and unfortunately he was murdered in a sectarian attack in Glasgow. His parents wanted something positive to come out of Mark's death, so they set up the Mark Scott Foundation and the Mark Scott Leadership for Life Award, and they had 2 aims in setting this up. The first was they wanted to help bring communities together to minimise social divides, and the second was also to help young people who were at the same stage as Mark was to realise their full potential. To do this, the award helps you to develop skills that you can use in a community setting in the form of a project, and those skills are completely transferable for you to use outside of the project and will set you apart from others your age who haven't had this opportunity. So really it's a win-win situation where you can have a positive impact on your community and you develop skills that will help you to navigate whatever the future holds. So why is the award relevant for you? So you guys are in 6th year and next year you'll be moving on to a different stage in your life. You might be looking to go to college, get an apprenticeship, go into the workplace, go to university. So lots of changes ahead for you. And this is compounded at the moment by all the uncertainty that we have been living with over the last 6 months and some of the uncertainties that will be coming in the future. So what do you get out of it? What's the award going to help you do? So quite simply, the award's going to give you the opportunity to learn skills and develop self-awareness, so that's knowledge of yourself, that will help set you apart from others in whatever that future holds for you after 6th year. We've done a lot of evaluation in the programme in the last 20 odd years, and what that data has shown us is that participants become more confident and more resilient, which is the ability to bounce back after setbacks, and they're also able to cope with change much better. The award can even make you much more open to trying new things and help you to be more ambitious. So given the current situation with its changes and uncertainties, the award is even more relevant today than it was for participants who were taking part last year. So what will you actually do to achieve your Mark Scott Leadership for Life Award? This year we've had to change things a little bit, move around the order that we do things in and the mode by which we do them. But we're confident that the changes that we've made will still help us to achieve the main goals of the award. So this year the award will consist of initial meetings and training through a mixture of weekly face-to-face and online sessions in your own time. Development of your skills, again through face-to-face work, and there'll be some online meetings also again in your own time. Following that, you're going to develop and deliver with other members of your project team and your project coordinator a project that will benefit your local community. And finally, you'll also undertake some kind of adventure element, allowing you and your team to challenge themselves. So we're taking a blended learning approach to the award, and where possible we will try and see you face to face, and for you to meet your team members face to face as well. But things are quite uncertain at the moment, as you know, so we are going to need to be flexible and adapt. But the good news is that we have devised the programme so that we're able to adapt to whatever the situation may be. This slide shows you the programme in more detail, so you can figure out what you're going to be doing and when. There are essentially 3 phases that you and your teammates will work through, and this is spread over a total of about 15 weeks. The first phase, which is called Introduction, Training and Team Development, will last about 6 weeks and happens right at the start of the programme, as you can see, and this aims to introduce you to the award and to others in your team. And also we aim to teach you during this phase about some psychological models to help you to understand yourself and others, and also to gain an understanding of team development. The second phase, Project Design, Approval and Delivery, will last about 5 weeks, and we'll start off teaching you some skills to manage a project, and then you and your team will identify, plan and deliver a project which will benefit your local community. Into the third phase then, which will last approximately 4 weeks, we'll aim to provide you some adventure experiences which will put some of your existing learning into context and will help to build your confidence. And finally, we'll round up the end of this phase, as we always do, by reviewing your award experience, which will help you to identify your learning throughout the award and how you can use this learning in the future. At the end of this phase, we hope to be able to celebrate your award completion in some way, conditions permitting. So on to a little bit more detail about the process itself. Looking firstly at the first phase, Introduction and Training, and just to outline what we think this will look like and how we'll work with you during this phase. So we envisage this is going to be a mixture of online and outdoor in-person sessions. Obviously we'll be guided by the current restrictions and regulations, and it may be that throughout the whole award, especially at the start perhaps, there will be some flexibility in what this may look like. So these sessions will be in your own time, although if we do have any online sessions they could occur at lunchtime while you're at school. And the sessions will include training in psychology of yourself and others, and an introduction to team development, into the theory of team development, and we'll be doing some practical sessions to help you get to know others in your team. At this stage, your training teams will be between 10 to 14 pupils from 2 or more schools in your area. And at the end of the phase, what we'll then do is we will split that larger group into 2 smaller teams from 1 or more school, and those 2 smaller teams will then move on into the next phase, which will be identifying and getting you ready to deliver a community project. Some of the theory and psychological models that you've been introduced to in these first 6 weeks will also be reinforced in activities and practical sessions that you'll take part in with other team members. That way you're going to get some real life experience of these things in action, and they're not just going to be an abstract idea that has no relevance to you in the real world. Moving on to the community project phase then. This will be delivered as previously via a mixture of online and in-person sessions, depending on the current restrictions. They'll take place in your own time, and during this phase you will identify a team goal to benefit your community. You will then design and deliver that goal into a community project with the aid of your teammates and your project coordinator. The project should benefit your community. It's important that it showcases your abilities, and this will help you stand out in the future. And it should allow everyone in the team to shine and take on the challenge. and also be done in your own time, and this will normally be 2 days, probably during one weekend. There'll be 4 categories for you to choose a project from. We've implemented this year to help with the restrictions that we anticipate will be in place, and these 4 categories are: the first one is active participation in local environmental work. The second is active participation in work in your local community. The third category is doing work to support the local environment, so that could be campaigning or promotion. And finally, the last category is doing work to support your local community, which again could be campaigning or promotion of your local community. These last 2 categories obviously lend themselves to more online work, which would fit perfectly should we go back into full lockdown again. So moving on to the last approximately 4 weeks of the award, this is when we're aiming to help you build your social confidence, social skills and confidence, and we will be delivering some adventure sessions with you, and we'll aim for these to be in-person sessions unless we're in full lockdown, and they're likely to be one-day events in your own time. We're not sure at the moment whether we're going to be able to have an expedition involved or any kind of residential based learning, but we will assess that at the time. We envisage this is going to last 3 days in duration, so it could be a long weekend or 2 1.5-day weekends. It will be adventurous, and you will be challenged as individuals and as teams. You'll be undertaking that in your project groups, so it'll be with people that you already know. It'll be real experience, so we'll not just be talking about things, we'll be out there experiencing them together, and there'll be reflective experiences as well. So we never do activities that are just standalone. We like you to know why we're doing them and what they've taught you about yourself and others. Overall, during this phase, you'll be encouraged to challenge yourself, and that's because we want you to surprise yourselves, because this award hopefully will teach you that you're capable of so much more than you thought that you were. Finally, we're just going to talk quickly about the end of the process, the final phase of the award, which is the completion of learning. So this will take place as 1 or 2 online or in-person sessions or meetings, again in your own time, unless an online session can happen at lunchtimes. What we'll aim to do during that time is to undertake a guided review and help you reflect with your team to identify your own learning and your team's learning, but also to help you identify your skills that you've developed throughout the award. During these sessions, you'll also get feedback from your teammates on things that you might not realise you did well during the award. And we'll also help you create an action plan for future development and achievement. And also at the end of this session, you will complete your evaluation from the award. We hope we'll then be able to hold an appropriate award event to celebrate your learning and also your achievement in your community. So this brings us now to the end of the process, the end of the award, which will be the completion of your learning. And this will take place during 1 or 2 online or in-person sessions. Again, we'll be guided by the current situation and advice on what we're able to do. They'll take place in your own time. Again, an online session may happen at lunchtimes, but if we meet you face to face, then that will be after school. The final review will be a guided review and reflection that the coordinator will run with you and your team, and it will help you identify your own learning and your team's learning that's happened throughout the process. Will help you highlight the skills that you've developed, And also you'll be able to get feedback from your teammates on the things that you might not realise that you did well during the award, which is really important. And will also help you create an action plan for future development and achievement. And that's looking at the learning that you've obtained during the award experience and looking at how that's going to help you in the future. And finally, as you've been doing evaluation throughout the award, you'll be doing a final piece of evaluation for us. After that, we really hope that we're going to be able to hold an award event to celebrate your learning and your achievements throughout the award. And again, we will organise this based on current guidelines as it stands at the time. So we've talked about how the award can benefit you and how we're going to do that. So finally, I'd like to just finish with just a thought on what we're going to need from you to take part effectively in the award this year and to make the most of the opportunity that's been given to you. So firstly, we need you to be committed to take part in the programme, and that's to the fullest of your ability. And what we mean by that is that we know life will get complicated sometimes. We know that things get in the way, sometimes family commitments or study commitments, but we ask that you put the award in your top priorities and you commit to taking part every week. Really importantly, we also ask you to make a commitment to yourself. We want you to use this opportunity to get the most out of it, be open to change, and also to the support that we can offer you. Doing this award, you're going to be taking part in things that you haven't done before, and perhaps you never thought that you were going to be able to, but we just want you to keep an open mind and give things a go. That's really important. And finally, we ask that you take part in the evaluation which will take place during the award. Usually we do this via online surveys or paper surveys, and this is important because it helps us evaluate the effectiveness of the award, and also that in turn helps retain the funding that we rely on every year for your places.